Everyone, welcome back. We're now going to continue from our Pentaho data integration and we go to data analytics. So we've downloaded our Pentaho API server. So we need to make sure when you download the server from either the Pentaho website or through SourceForge, just make sure you set up the correct environment of variables so that when the server wants to start, it can read properly the location that is with the Java runtime environment. Right. So we click on the start server. We click on start Pentaho. It's going to start the Tomcat server. So as it starts the server, the Tomcat is going to give you now the information that is happening as the server is starting up until to a point where you get a message that the server is ready and you can start. So this are all the messages that will be coming in as the server is running. So just make sure you run it up to a point where you get a message that the server is ready and it's located. You can run now under this port. So the server runs localhost. If you're on localhost, it runs at localhost under port 880. Right. So when the server is up and running, you just make sure you open your browser, point it to localhost 8080, and then you've got several credentials, inbuilt credentials. There's an admin and a password, as well as a business user, which is Susie, and a password. So for our instance, we want to log in admin, then we create our chats so that the user can also evaluate. Right. So if we click on login with our admin account, the server will just take a few seconds to load. Then we can have now the home page. Right. So on the home page, there are several aspects that we're going to touch more on. So you've got a browse files. If you want to browse certain files, you've got a create new, you've got a manage data source, as well as if you want to make access of the documentation. You also have got the recent files or those files that you might have marked as favorites. So on the create new, for us to be able to start creating, we are going to start with a JPivot. So we want to create a pivot table that is very interactive. We can drill down to see the activities that are happening in a specific column so that we can identify if it's sales, we want to understand all the sales information provided by that row. So we can now drill down using the JPivot view. So this then becomes an interactive report. Right. So what we can do is we already have got data source that we have imported. If we want to import more data source, we can go back on our home page, then we create new, we go to data source. Right, so under data source, what we can do, I can put Pentaho. I'm going to put Pentaho demo. Then I will choose a CSV. So for purpose of our presentation, I will just show you how to use CSV, but you have an option of using SQL query or connecting to any database tables. So you create to any database, enter the connection path, then username and password, then you can connect to the DB. Then I'll use our CSV. So under import, I'll browse to a location where we can look for our CV. So if I click on browse, then I'll go to computer, I'll open my local disk C, then I'll open my new folder, then I can open PS4 games sales. So I just want to make an analysis of PS4 game sales. So it creates a fake path, then I click on import. Then we've got it's a comma separated value, so the delimiter is a comma, then the first row is got header. Then I click on next, then it goes to a section where it wants to format by telling you the data type that is in each and every column. Then I can click on finish. Right, then the data source has been successfully created. Then in order for us to use to be able to use the reporting and analytics, the server wants us to use a default metadata model. So we want to keep the default model. Then I'll click on OK. Right, now that I have a data, I can click now on the JPivot view. Then on the JPivot view, I have an option of a schema. So what I'm going to use is I'll select the one that we created on Pentaho demo. It has got the same cube. Then I click on OK. Right, then what it's going to do is it's going to now start to try and pivot all the data that we have. It's going to try and pivot all the data. So I have now an option of drilling down to a specific field. So in terms of drilling down, it's either you can drill a certain member or you can continue to go and drill a position that you want to be using. So that's one of the advantages of using this as an interactive data source. It is an interactive report. You have that option of drilling down. So one of the main differences that you're going to see, you also have got a drill position, or so drill replace. One of the changes that you're going to see is if you drill a position, it will expand just one node that you click on, but if you drill a member, it will expand all nodes at that level in the hierarchy. That's one thing that it will do. So it's basically an option that you would want to use. Which dealing would you want to use? So if for instance, if I click on genre, so I might want to see all the measures in Europe under genre, so I can view all the actions under by genre. So you have an option again if you want to swap your axis. If I want to swap my axis, I can click on my swap axis, then it's gonna give you the same report that you would have swapped in axis. Then it also has a functionality. You have got you show this report as a chart if you want to show this same report as a chart, or if you want to start an Excel sheet. So that's all the functionality that comes with using the JPivot view. Then when you are done, you can remember to click on save, so that we can access our report at any interval. So that's one of the advantages that we have. Also, you've got a filter if you want to filter all the information that we have. So if I click on all up, I have an option if I want to filter what is it that I want to filter on. So if I click on genre, you have that flexibility of what is it that you want to appear in your DB. So it's either you choose all of them or you remove all of them. So it all depends on how you would want to analyze the data that is coming out of the report. So it says select one, so I can select, let me select shooter, simulation, sports, strategy, then I can click on OK. So that's one of the examples that you can use if you want to choose an interactive report, which is the jQuery, right? So moving on further, we can now go and also create a dashboard. So we can also go in and create a dashboard. So if I go to home, I can click on create new, I click on CD dashboard, right? So it takes some time to load, so just be patient. Is it to be taking time to load so that we can all see what will be happening? We can give it a second. To be loading. I think I can close the other ones so that it doesn't use much resources, right? So now that it has opened, you know, we've got an option now to create your dashboard. So at the end, you've got your layout panel, you have got your components panel, you also have got your data source panel. So this is where you now to specify what is that you want to do. So for instance, I can click on my data source panel, then I can click on wizard. So for example, I want to use the all up chat wizard. So if I click on the all up chat wizard, it will pop up an option for me to select what is it that I want. So I've got my Pentaho demo, so I'll select my Pentaho demo as my data. Then now I've got dimensions. So under my dimensions, I will then say, let me try to create a report that shows measurements by publisher. So if I click on publisher, I can add my publisher, I can drag publisher, put it under rows, right? Then under measurements, I will say, let's just click on the fact count. So I'll click my fact count, I'll put it under column, right? So what it's gonna do now is it's gonna give me a sort of a report. It's gonna give me a sort of a report. So I have an option to choose: do I want a bar chart, do I want a line graph, or do I want a dot chart? That's the information that can come out of that dashboard. You can also have a flexibility. I can remove publisher, I can go and take genre. If I want to create a chart that shows me the outcome by genre. So I've got action, MO, platform. Then from this instance, I also have got an option to limit the number that I can see on a chart. So if I also have an option to limit the number. So let's just select our top count is 15. It means we now have got more information that can show under on our bar chart. We can also change our report if you want it to look as a pie chart, if you want to look at it as a line graph. All those flexibilities come in under the all up wizard, right? So after this, you can now click, give a title, Pentaho demo report by genre, right? So you have your data by genre, then you can click on OK. So what it does now, it saves this report. You can access this report at any instance. Then we can also edit to our dashboard. So this is how you'll be creating these charts. You also have got a flexibility if you want to use our queries. So if we have got inbuilt queries, we can now develop our queries. We can also use Keto queries. It all depends on how you want to import your data to come to to the repository. So how you gonna want to connect to your repository. So we've got all these tools that are at our disposal. So this is how we'll be using our server. Thank you.